Hey guys, this is Max from FL Studio Tips. Today I'm really excited because we'll be mastering a full song from start to finish using a really cool technique that might blow your mind. Let's get into this. So we'll be using one of many tracks we master from start to finish in our full mastering course. And as always, when you're mastering, we're focusing on the main part where there's a lot of stuff going on. Alright, so what we'll be doing is reverse mastering. So we'll be mastering, but starting from the last step that you usually do when mastering. Shout out to Guido from Cuts and Beats for the genesis of this idea. And now, first of all, you'll never ever want to use a simple limiter on your master. Like, the last thing you want to do is have your master look like this. You have a limiter. That's the last thing we want to do. It's the worst idea you can ever think of when mastering. We want to use a maximizer, something that's pushing up the volume and cutting the peaks, and not a compressor, because limiter is a compressor that's just lowering the volume, right? So we'll be using this threshold and we'll set it to mode A. Mode A is very important here, and set to about 1% of saturation. You can do less. And now saturation ceiling will set to -1 dB, and now we'll be pushing up the post gain here until you hear audible distortion, and then taking it down from this. So here you have distortion very audible, and now we'll want to take it down 1 or 2 dB. So we have still audible distortion, but it's not that heavy. And now, if you want, we can spice this technique up by using Yulin loudness meter. So you would use it to find the target LUFS. Like 7.5 is like the very loud sweet spot. Somebody will tell you that it's too loud, but that's up to you. And if you hear somebody, oh, Spotify will lower it to -14 dB, then just refer them to our another video about mastering or our mastering course. We talk about it. And now we'll be going backwards from this. We have this Maximus that's pushing up the volume really hard, and now we want to clean up everything. So this Maximus actually has no distortion, and we'll be and now we can put Yulin loudness meter at the very end, Maximus as well at the very end. First of all, we start with very harsh EQ by cutting all the lows. It's really funny to see when everybody's afraid of cutting 30 Hz. It's crazy, but I just think we need to get used to it. People think they need 30 Hz and they are telling you to cut at 20 Hz. Like, why? People just think that 30 Hz is some like depth or something. Like, first of all, usually you won't use any instruments in your track that have any 30 Hz. Like with the sub bass, the lowest you go is like C1, and that's literally at 35 Hz. I rarely hear tracks go lower than D. It's just that between D and F sharp or G is like the sweet spot for really deep and heavy sub, and D is hitting literally at 37 Hz. And like, you don't have anything lower than 30 Hz in your song, because you just usually don't have anything lower than 30 Hz. You're completely free to cut it out. And if you have something under 30 Hz, it means that we should get rid of that, because the lower the frequencies go, the more headroom they take in your track. And that cut will make our Maximus really happy that we are taking these frequencies off of it. And now we're just cutting some of the very highs. I don't want to get into real details. Let's set it at around 17K. We can set it to linear mode, so just to be safe, as it's mastering stage. And secondly, we'll be doing mid-side EQ. In our Patcher Lords Volume 1, we have really handy mid-side EQ right here. I love this patch because it actually allows you to not see what's actually happening and use your ears, which are the most important part here. So with the side low cut, start from the top and start listening when you actually have enough stuff in your sides that you're happy with. Alright, so it's about here. This is a sweet spot between clean and nicely wide in the lows. Now at this point, if you would like to add some mid body here, We are missing it a little bit here. And you can also make it a little bit wider in the stereo sides, in the side highs. It gives some spark to the highs. Now, another thing I really want to do is get rid of some muddiness and pump up the very, very lows. And we can do it with our Auto-Pultec EQ preset here. Now we could introduce some excitement, and my favorite lately is a multiband distortion preset from the pack. Especially in the very, very highs, it's a really nice way if you add a little bit of the highs on the sides and distorts the very, very highs, especially if your hats are really, really clean and you might want to add a little bit of the spark there. Of course, you usually don't want to do it on the master, but be aware that there are a lot of engineers that are using multiband distortion on their masters, and it sometimes can work really, really nicely since you are putting all of your instruments at once and distorting them all together. That glues them really, really nicely, and it's usually not possible if you just distort your highs separately from like vocal or something, right? This is really, really good. Now, at this point, we could make some surgical EQ to make sure we don't have really, really harsh peaks in our track. Not really necessary right here, but now we're coming to the most important part of the whole process, and now it will be multiband dynamics. Multiband dynamics, so multiband compression, we'll be doing using Maximus, of course. And now lows, we go and compress a lot, bring down the difference between kick and bass a little bit together. Now we can bring up the post gain to make up for the loss. Same thing we do with the mids. And highs. As you can hear, it's much, much better. Let's listen to before and after. If you would like to learn everything about mastering and explore a lot of concepts and techniques that you might not have heard about yet, check out our mastering course. We've got so much cool stuff and 100% money back guarantee, so you can try out all of our products, watch the courses from start to finish, and after 30 days, you don't think like they skyrocketed your production skills, you get 100% of your money back. If you got value out of this video, and I'm sure you did, make sure to leave a like, comment your next topic idea, and subscribe to not miss out when it's coming out. See you in the next video.